Keep calm, but listen on.
Rocking the waves with Kaieteur Radio.
Demerara and Essequibo 99.1 FM.
Berbice 99.5 FM.
Kaieteur Radio.
This is the news on top of the hour.
Live from our studio in Georgetown.
Kaieteur Radio 99.1 FM.
Good morning and welcome to your morning newscast right here on Kaieteur Radio 99.1 and 99.5 FM. I am Joshua Van Slykeman. In our headlines this morning, expert says Ghana moving too fast with development of its oil, but Kaieteur oil companies, quote unquote, drill baby drill. Brazil to auction 92 blocks this year, equivalent to size of just 3 of Guyana's blocks combined. And the Chinese contractor continues to disregard government deadlines for airport project. And in today's op-ed, Ghana's oil sector at the Boulevard of Death by Kiana Wilberg. Get the details of these stories and much more when the news returns.
Kaieteur Radio.
And now for the news in details. Once again, thank you for joining us on 99.1 and 99.5 FM. As a consequences of global warming continues to worsen, countries across the world have increased efforts towards the transition away from fossil fuels to cleaner sources of energy, so that carbon dioxide emissions can be reduced and therefore led to the decline in the rising of global temperatures. As a result of this transition, industry experts have categorically stated that the demand for oil will never be the same again. They have conducted that the oil demand has reached its peak, hence the desire of some new producers like Guyana to get the oil out of the ground as quickly as possible and have it sold. Chatham House expert Dr. Valerie Marcel recently posited that she could understand why Guyana may not want to rush to its oil development, since one does not know how much time each country will have to sell its resources. It will all depend on the cost to develop it and how long the market will thirst for it. Be that as it may, Dr. Marcel warns that the pace at which Guyana is moving is perhaps too fast, since its risk loses significant value in the process. Global energy information provider S&P Global has reported that Brazil has cleared 92 offshore exploration and production oil blocks to be licensed in a public sale. The blocks were approved by the National Energy Policy Council, the government agency charged with advising the president on energy. The blocks will be a part of the 17 bid round of Brazil and will be sold under the concession agreement. An alternative to the production sharing agreement with Brazil is now cleaving to move to, said the National Petroleum Agency's Brazil oil industry regulator. The combined award of Guyana's Stabroek, Kaieteur, and Quarantine blocks is 52,840 square kilometers. In contrast, Brazil managed to split such an acreage into 92 blocks. Continuing to disregard the government's deadline is China Harbour Engineering Company Limited, CHEC. This is after the Chinese contractor had failed on completing critical outstanding tasks at the Chadijagan International Airport by a December 2020 deadline. It was previously agreed upon that the contractor would complete 34 out of the 71 critical items at the $150 million US airport by December 31, 2020. However, CHEC has only managed to complete 13 of those 34 items as of January 7, 2021, as revealed by CJIA authorities. Due to their inability to complete the task, Minister of Public Works, the Honorable Bishop Juan Edgel, has called on CHEC to adhere to strict timelines to complete outstanding works on the airport. But even with these calls for urgency, no penalties have been stipulated by the government if CHEC fails to honor those commitments. And coming from Kaieteur News senior journalist Kiana Wilberg, by May 2020, I was on my 4th reading of The Crude Intentions by Alexander Gillies, one of the world's most respected experts in oil sector corruption. In that book, Gillies offers readers a deep yet dark view of how countries have failed with the management of their oil revenues. Gillies alludes in a most fashion how the oil sector can find itself caught at the boulevard of death. In this regard, she noted that New Yorkers used to refer the Queens Boulevard as the Boulevard to Death. The horrid nickname was earned from the alarming rate at which pedestrians were killed or injured and their fear. Even every time I read this chapter, I am immediately transported to Guyana's situation with the oil resources, which join timber, gold, bauxite, and rice. Get the full story in today's Kaieteur News. City Mayor Ubraj Narain has proposed making local authorities tax compliance for businesses' transactions as part of efforts to curtail the issue with businesses defaulting on payments, rates, and taxes. During a press briefing at City Hall on Friday, Narain explained that the proposal is to help give the various councils some sort of authority and leverage to collect their dues. He noted that the problem with rates and tax collections is a universal one in the various local authorities' district. The issue has resulted in the municipality losing billions in revenue. He suggested that if the councils were given the same respect as GRA and NIS when it comes to compliance, then they would never have to worry about being owed rates and taxes. President Irfan Ali thoroughly rejected the latest decree by Venezuelan leader Nicolas Maduro following a recent statement in which he vowed to reconquer the Essequibo as the territory of the Republic. The decree comes weeks after the ICJ handed down a decision that it has jurisdiction to hear the Guyana versus Venezuela border dispute over the validity of the arbitration award of 1899, which gave Guyana rights to territories of Essequibo. The case is ongoing and is expected to be ventilated through the ICJ within the next 24 months. President Ali announced that Foreign Affairs Minister Hugh Todd has been instructed to summons the officer in charge of the Venezuelan embassy in Georgetown to express Guyana's deep concern about the decree. Vice President Dr. Bharat Jagli revealed last month that upon assumption of office, he made sure to clear 4 sets of work permits for local firms that had approached the government with planned investments combined to total more than $55 million. He added that the former government had these firms waiting more than 2.5 years, despite their application being approved abroad. Get the full details in today's Kaieteur News. And finally, at this time, despite numerous attempts in seeking answers, GPL continues to dodge questions from Kaieteur regarding the country's energy demand and how it is expected to grow within the next 10 years. We thought it necessary to ascertain these details with the advent of natural gas and other forms of energy being discussed and introduced to Guyana. With this in mind, this newscast on December 17, 2020 had reached out to the state agency's public relations officer Chevron Shears, requesting the details on what the country's current electricity demand and how it is expected to grow within the next 10 years among other energy supply issues. Shears had acknowledged the email on the same day, stating that she would action the request, quote-unquote. A follow-up email was sent to the PRO on December 29th, requesting an update on when her request will be fulfilled, but no response. Calls were even made to contact the CEO Bharat Dindyal, but even those proved futile. And with that, we've come to the end of your main newscast right here on Kaieteur Radio 99.1 and 99.5 FM. Let's remind you that you can get the full details of these stories and much more by picking up a copy of the Kaieteur News at a newsstand near you, or head across to our website at kaieteurnewsonline.com. Joshua Van Sleckman here. Thank you for joining us. And Kevin Smith is up next with the Weekend Review, where we recap all the top stories we carried over the past week.
Hey, have you missed our newscasts during the week?